In Shatila Camp.
A city inside the city. A patch of land with borders all the way round and one way in and out. A temporary solution that's been going on for over 60 years.
The smell of ripe vegetables mixes with the smell of meat and sewage. Barefoot children play with a deflated ball, and electrical wires dangle all over the place, which makes you feel very nervous, especially since the road's covered with puddles.
The meat slaughtered halal, and the flies swarm all over it. A kilo for 6,000 lira, the cheapest kilo of meat in the country.
Under the tarmac are the bodies of children, women and men who woke up one night to the thrust of knives and the blaze of flares. Every year they light candles and remember the sound of panicked horses at the time of the massacre.
She'd heard.
You can get anything done in the camp, and cheap.
She decided it was time to get this baby issue sorted out.
But for now, she needed to eat. On the left, a sign bearing the name, The Commander. It's a restaurant. They enter and sit down.
The waitress comes over and puts down a large plate bearing an even larger fish, raw.
Thanks, but we don't want fish.
My dear, this is a fish restaurant. You can't sit here without ordering anything.
A plate of chips then, please.
As you know, people generally like to open up to Ghalia.
Make them fish, on the house.
In the camp, everyone has a nickname, and they've always called her Madame. But nobody remembers why.
One Sunday, like any other Sunday, around 60 Sundays ago, Madame grilled some birds for the commander, but she had marinated them in anaesthetic overnight.
Madame was an air hostess in Beirut in the 60s, the most glorious of the glory years. When she put her green suit on and did her hair in the mornings, the boys and men of the neighbourhood, and even the women, would wait to catch a glimpse of her in her Middle East Airlines uniform. On her days off, too, they'd wait to see what she was wearing on her feet.
On days off, she'd always wear fancy stilettos. They say she had a room full of stilettos in her house and that she never wore a pair more than once.
When she fell in love and went and married a Palestinian, her whole family disowned her.
My lover's half Palestinian.
Really? Does he love you?
I'm not sure anymore, to be honest. But he got me pregnant, and now he's disappeared. I think it's best if I get rid of the baby. I've heard it can be done here.
At this point, the boy stared at Ghalia for what felt like a long and very judgmental moment, then continued eating greedily, taking extra from her plate.
What on earth would you want to do that for?
I'm leaving home and going abroad. How am I meant to look after a baby? I can hardly handle a 10-year-old boy, for God's sake.
Now, women are natural caregivers. Take it from me. You might think serving people as an air hostess is different to bringing up children. But you can't imagine how needy people become when they're on a plane. They're like babies. I need water, I need food, I need to go to the toilet. You have to look after all their basic needs.
OK, but still...
Now, I know it's not the same, believe me. I've spent my whole life trying to have a baby. For years, I felt like barren land. Not being able to have children with the commander was like a stigma. It drove him away from me.
Took a second wife, did he?
Yes. But I got him back. I felt like a new woman. Now, with his condition, I'm completely responsible for him. There's no one else to look after him. I take him to the bathroom, I feed him with my own hands, I wash him, I cut his hair, I dress him, I put him to sleep. I look after him as if he were a child. He sits in his chair, doesn't talk, he can't move, except to his face and one hand. But it doesn't matter. What matters is that he's back. And that's all he needs. To be able to hold my hand and kiss it when I'm feeding him. It means the world to me.
This isn't really helping me make up my mind. Thanks for the fish, but I'd better go. I need to find a place for this boy and get on my way.
Madame has an uncanny way of moving from place to place in a flash without anyone noticing, even in high heels. Maybe because she spent so much time in aeroplanes above the clouds.
She returns with a green Middle East Airlines bag. It's vintage.
Travel light, light bag, light heart.